In the previous episodes, we discussed multiple perspectives of the situation of English language programs. And as we finished the last episode, we mentioned that there is one more perspective to discuss, very important one, and sometimes forgotten, right? Administrators and teachers.
Yes, and those are two important voices that we need to bring into the topic of successful education for multilingual learners of English and their families.
So again, let me start, Luis, with asking you for your own experience. We both know that MLEs arrive with very difficult stories, and very often teachers are those who help them out, listen them, and go with them through their past and rough experience. How does this affect? Because I believe it doesn't leave teachers untouched. How does it affect teachers?
Yes, education is a career that requires not only content knowledge, but also empathy and love, dedication for what you do. So many of our MLEs do arrive with very difficult stories, with stories of trauma, for example, stories of difficulties throughout their life, throughout their journeys. And as teachers, when we talk to them, when we learn from their past, their experiences, we often experience what we call in the field secondhand trauma, which is that we listen to the stories of our students, their trauma stories, and we take them with us. Even though we did not experience that firsthand, we do feel the emotional weight that our students carry. We empathize with them, and that affects us also. That's what we call secondhand trauma. And that's something that many teachers of MLEs, we have to deal with and we have to be aware of, because it does affect us in the long run.
The natural reaction when you see that someone is harmed, the natural reaction of all of us is to try to help them. But we already know that it's very hard to do in the environment of schools and underfunding and everything. May this lead to the frustration?
Yes, frustration, it leads to many things: frustration, emotional burnout, sometimes feeling helpless at times, because you want to, and you talk to leaders, stakeholders, individuals who have power to provide more funding, more opportunities, and they do not see it as an important or essential necessity, but you know that your students are hurting and or could benefit from services. And as teachers, we can only do what we can, right? So that definitely is something that affects us as well.
You mentioned burnout. Is there any research you recall around the rate of burnouts in the profession of teachers?
Well, let me say this. During COVID-19, there was a lot of research about COVID-19 and different professions, how we were experiencing the situation of COVID-19. And teachers were actually the career, number one career that experienced the most burnout when it comes to the situation that we were experiencing at that time. Even above, we have healthcare services careers, that was actually number two. But teachers were the careers, the professionals that experienced the most burnout.
That's surprising, I would say. But you can be that really surprised if you just imagine the stories that are behind those students and those families, right?
Yes, and you're bringing with you back home their stories, but we also have our own stories as teachers. So we put that together.
And people.
We're human beings also, right? And sometimes also people forget that the teachers, we're human beings, and then we're very empathetic human beings. That's why we're teachers, and we bring with us our student stories, and we have our own challenges and our own situations. So all of that, it's a perfect mix for emotional burnout.
Absolutely. So the responsibility to help teachers lies on the administration. and the school districts, what they can do to help them and prevent them from burning out?
Well, yes, administration does have an essential role in supporting teachers. And, there are many things, there are many ways on how they can support teachers. The first one, I would say, providing the resources, the space for teacher well-being. That will be for me essential. Just giving teacher well-being the place that it deserves in education, and that comes with resources, etc. From my own experience, I would also say providing resources, either hiring multilingual staff and or providing translation interpreting resources for teachers. And I'm saying this from my own experience. I used to work at a school where I was the only Spanish speaker, and for many years I was interpreting, translating on top of teaching for the whole school. That was very intense, and I was always very tired and very drained, and emotional burnout definitely was something that I experienced during that time, because you're not only interpreting, you're not only translating, you're in the story of whatever is happening, and you take that with you as well as interpreter, as translator. So that's something that I would highly recommend that schools take into account.
But in the same time, it's extremely hard. It's even hard to find teachers right now, and multilingual teachers makes it more difficult. So I believe that technology can be an answer to that, right?
Yes, and it is true that we are experiencing a teacher shortage in the US. Not now, it has been for years. It's something that has been ongoing, nonstop, and it's just an increasing challenge that we have in education, especially for multilingual teachers in the US. So technology, and we mentioned that in a previous episode, so educational technology can bring that solution for, especially for communication and helping teachers not having to have additional duties, right? Like translating or interpreting, especially multilingual teachers, because that's an additional stress that is placed on those teachers.
Of course. So it's important to say that monolingual teachers equipped with technology can take place of multilingual teachers, right?
Yes, technology can help everyone, not only the well-being of multilingual teachers, but monolingual teachers, all teachers. As we know, educational technology, especially when it comes to translation, interpreting, helping with communication, can benefit everyone in the school system. We talk about administrators as well, so they definitely benefit administrators as well.
And what about other, maybe less obvious opportunities, options that administration can use and offer to teachers to prevent all of this from happening?
Yes, well, less obvious, perhaps. I have three here that perhaps we can think about. And the first one is, and I'm going to go back to the first episode where we talk about collaboration with community organizations. It is essential to bring the community in the learning space and prioritize education that is community-based, because communities, we have a lot of resources if schools take advantage of them. So making sure that we have collaboration with local communities, local organizations, I would say that's a very important choice. Also, we think about, for example, health services that are in the community, all of that we can bring. Also, the second one would be peer mentoring programs. So it's very important to have support. When we talk about peer mentoring, it could be for students, for teachers, peers. It's always very important for the educational system. So this is the importance of not leaving anyone feel isolated or alone. So that's very, very important. We could have, for example, when it comes to students and their progress, we could have students who are more advanced, peer tutor other students who are less advanced. That helps teachers as well with their progress, with language itself. And the last one that I have here is expanding the use of technology for real-time language support. And this is something that we're seeing more and more with the increase of technology, is bringing technology into the classroom, not as an add-on, but as something that is happening in real time. So you can use technology in real time to learn, to improve the learning experience, because the reality is that whether we like it or not, technology is present everywhere. Even right now, we have technology here with us in real time. So it's the same for students. They have to be able to feel comfortable and use the resources that real life technology, real time, can bring for them inside the classroom and outside as well.
So it's supporting instruction?
Supporting instruction, supporting the learners is going to support the teacher as well, for sure.
In other words, first use the resources you have around you before you start looking for something else, right?
Yes, sometimes the most obvious choices are the choices that are near you, or they're very simple that you know about, but you haven't incorporated, like the community, like peers, technology that we have it every day. It's technology is all present, but we don't think about educational technology as often. We should.
I hope it won't be too much to ask you for your own experience, because you said yourself that you experienced the burnout. Where did that lead you finally? Like, did you stay where you were, or did it lead you to make some new choices, explore new opportunities?
Yes, and for many of us teachers, and I say many of us because it happens also with many of my colleagues as well, teacher colleagues, burnout often leads to teachers either leaving the profession, or in my case, leaving the space where I was teaching. And that's something else that teachers, when we either leave the school or leave the profession, that's an additional stress that we take with us, because then we feel guilty, oh, we left our students. But yes, that's what it leads to, and that's why we see that's such a big problem now with teacher shortage and so many teachers leaving the profession.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I think that at this point, we are ready to summarize our conversation. And as much as we went through all the details throughout our episodes, our series, I think that we should draw some general ideas, conclusions that you can build on in the future, build the strategy, build the plan to change the reality. What would that be? What do you think?
Yes, and I do have some general takeaways, lessons learned that I would like to share with everyone. The first one is every single stakeholder is responsible for the success of MLEs. Perhaps this is very obvious, but it's important to say it. Every single stakeholder is responsible for the success of MLEs. The second one, there are no simple answers to this complex topic, but we should work towards long-term and sustainable solutions. And that's one of the biggest problems, that many school systems just look for short-term, usually 1-year solutions, and then they have to figure it out again next year. So we should be looking at long-term sustainable solutions that can benefit everyone.
Because it will get only more complex if you won't build a program.
Yes, and it's always complex and it's always changing. So we should be looking at sustainability, not short-term.
Absolutely.
And the third one that I have here, education is constantly changing, going back to our topic, depending on current trends and realities. And this is why it is crucial for English programs and staff to be willing to evolve as well. And I say this because there are many times where administrators, teachers, staff in general, they feel comfortable where they are, and they're just trying to make the bare minimum, unfortunately, but that affects students, and that affects parents, and that affects the community at large. So we have to be willing. In the teaching career, it's a lifelong learning career. We should never get comfortable with what we know. We should never get comfortable with what we're doing. It's a process of evolution and learning. So we should always be willing to continuously learn and learn and learn how to improve.
That's the rule of life.
That is the rule of life, yes. And last but not least, we have the fourth one here. The solution needs to be as complex as the challenges. There is no simple solution to effectively support MLEs. It requires a unified approach where teachers and students are at the center of the conversation. And I want to highlight this again. Teachers and students are at the center of the conversation. Sometimes we just think about students, but it's teachers and students, really. I do see it as an infinity sign. I don't know if you've seen the infinity. I'm a visual learner. So the infinity sign, one part is the student, one part is the teacher. And the most support that you can provide to one and to the other, the better it is for the collective. So we cannot neglect one or the other. We should support both of them collectively for the improvement of the school system.
And the society.
And the society at large, absolutely, yes.
Thank you for that. I think that those takeaways are important, and I think that having such discussions is extremely helpful because it helps realize the magnitude of the challenge, but it also shows that there are solutions available and we can do something about it.
Yes, and that's exactly, I think, the goal of our conversation is to share that, yes, it is a complex topic. We all know it's complex, but there are solutions, and we should be looking out for those solutions. We should be thinking about and talking about those solutions 100%.
Thank you for that. Again, it was a huge pleasure to have you here to discuss everything. And I have a very good news for you because the next episode will be about the solution. So for the first time in our series, we can discuss something that is promising, that may bring the relief to all those stakeholders that we discussed.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that we could take you through our journey about the education. And please stay tuned for the next episode where we will discuss Vasco Translator as a possible solution and support for MLEs, families,